Hey everybody, Jason Blaha here with Ice Cream Fitness. Hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot. I had to do that early on because in my comments on the video I put up yesterday, someone complained that they were 3 minutes in and they hadn't seen a bicep shot and they were thinking of unsubscribing. So, again, I have to give you guys what you want. For today's topic, someone sent me a question asking about the chains in one of my other videos. In this video right here, for my power day the other day, I'm using chains on a couple of different lifts on floor presses and box squats. And they noticed that I had been using chains in several of my videos, and they wanted to know what the purpose of chains are and what the benefits of this are. All right, this is a multifold answer. Train chaining was used by the Russians originally for their strength athletes and for their Olympic athletes and things, and it was later popularized in the West by a man named Louis Simmons, who founded Westside Barbell, who is himself also an international powerlifting champion, and he really changed a lot of ideas as far as the way powerlifters and strength athletes change in the West. And again, he popularized this for powerlifters. It's used by strength athletes and even bodybuilders and things still today. All right, so train chaining is used for a couple of different purposes. The first of which is to create what's called accommodating resistance so that you can actually change your strength curve. And when you're working with relatively heavy weights, what this can allow you to do is to, take the weakest portion of your lift and use a weight that's below your max to be able to do several reps with to get the weight started, and then use a weight that's actually near your max or even higher than your max at the very top. And so again, when you see me doing it on things like the floor press, I'm actually doing it for that purpose. I'm using a little more weight at the top on that floor press. I'm using a little more weight on the top of a floor press than what I would normally be able to press because that's pretty heavy for me. I don't think I can quite floor press 275 for a single, but I can lock it for 3 reps for sets of 3, at the very top. And then at the bottom, it's maybe only 225, which I can do for 7 or 8 reps off the bottom, off of a floor press. So again, I'm able to get it started for 3 reps and then lock it. And what that allows me to do is to create a strength curve that will allow me to do multiple reps with a weight I might not be able to handle through the stronger part of my motion. And again, allow me to basically just use a heavier workload for that lift than I would normally be able to use. And also by creating that accommodating resistance, you can emphasize muscles that you might want to emphasize more. And again, if you use my floor press as an example, bring my triceps up more, I feel like they're a bit of a weakness for me. So by doing things like train chaining with the floor press, the triceps work the hardest at the top. And so I'm putting the most load on that lift at the very top and overloading the triceps a bit. So again, that's one thing you can do to create a strength curve that will allow you to do multiple reps with your max or even above your max by adjusting the strength curve. The other benefit you get from training with chains is that when you're trying to train for speed strength and explosive strength, if you look at the way I did them on the box squats, it's a very generous strength curve because I'm only, really releasing about half of the chain, and so that's only about 35 pounds is actually coming off at the bottom versus the top, which is less than 10% of, the total weight that's on the bar. So it's not a huge strength curve, but it's just enough that the weight gradually increases. And what you're doing with it in a case like that is that when you're trying to train for explosive speed, normally the bar starts to slow because we just naturally slow a weight down sometimes once we have momentum going. And what you're actually seeing with there is that you're able to, because it's slightly lighter through the weakest part of the range of motion, go ahead and explode and get the weight started moving. And what you're doing is by having the chain and the accommodating resistance as it gets higher, the weight is increasing, you're increasing the load and it's trying to slow you down, and it actually trains your body to contract faster and recruit more motor units when you're trying to lift explosively to continue to accelerate the bar as the weight actually increases on you. So again, it's also a very, very useful tool for increasing speed strength by, again, forcing a strength curve such that the weight increases through the range of motion. And so therefore, in order to sustain the bar speed, you have to continue to generate the same amount of force, whereas normally as you get into the easier part of a movement and you have inertia, normally, you can generate less force and maintain the bar speed. And in this case, with the chain, it forces you to sustain that rate of muscle fiber recruitment at the same rate in order to continue to keep the bar accelerated at the same speed, which would normally be diminished as you go through the range of motion. And that's pretty much it. Those are the reasons why I use chains. Those are the common reasons why they're used. I hope this is informative. Let me give you guys another bicep shot, and I'll talk to you next time.